Hello and welcome to our second video. In this video we will look in more detail at our range of heat transfer paper. The first thing you need to consider when choosing a heat transfer paper is whether the paper you use is for an inkjet or laser printer. You must use the correct type of paper for the printer you are using, but if you have access to both or are considering which type to buy, here are a few points you need to consider. Larger laser printers are generally more cost effective to run than inkjet printers, but can require a more careful adjustment or setup for the paper to print correctly. This often involves fine-tuning your settings in order to find the optimum match between the paper and your printer. Each piece of heat transfer paper is made up of a printable film layer, a heat-activated adhesive layer, and a removable paper backing, or release liner as it is also known. The film layer is clear on papers for light fabrics, and it is white or opaque on papers for dark fabrics to hide the colour of the background. When using a transfer paper for light fabrics, you will need to print a mirror image of your design onto the paper because it will be positioned face down and pressed onto the substrate. Vice versa, when you are using an opaque or dark fabric transfer paper, the image needs to be printed the right way round, like a conventional print. This is because the image is pressed facing up so that the white backing separates it from the darker substrate material. The other difference is the release liner backing must be removed now. Depending on your design, you may need to trim or cut away any excess film. You may choose to use a craft knife, scissors or a plotter cutter if you have one. By removing any excess film around your image will help create a more professional look and increase the flexibility and softness of your fabric. There are some laser transfer papers available that don't require cutting. These are called self-weeding papers and will be covered in future videos. For now, we are going to focus on standard transfer paper. Now, we are going to be heat pressing our image onto our chosen substrate. Most inkjet papers can be pressed by using a home iron or a heat press, whereas laser papers require a heat press. Each different transfer paper has a recommended temperature, time and pressure that it needs to be pressed at for it to transfer successfully. We supply an information sheet with this information with each different product, and you can find them all on our website. First, we do a pre-press to smooth out the fabric and remove any moisture for just a few seconds. You can do this with either a heat press or an iron. Then we lay the transfer into position. As previously mentioned, the transfer paper for light fabrics is placed face down and then pressed for the recommended time. Once you have pressed your transfer for the recommended time, you will need to peel the release liner or backing paper. How soon you need to do this will be specified on the instruction sheet supplied with the paper. Some need to be peeled immediately while still hot, some shortly after whilst warm, and some when cold. Now we will press a paper for dark fabric. As shown earlier, you must remove the release liner before pressing and then place the transfer with the print facing up. Now lay a silicone or PTFE sheet over the transfer and press at the specified temperature, pressure and time. Most opaque papers need to be allowed to cool down completely before you peel away the silicone or PTFE sheet, but always check the instructions. That completes our overview of heat transfer paper. In our next video we will be looking at heat transfer film. Thank you for watching.